Hi there guys, I'm Renee. I am the owner and artist behind Chicly Reclaimed Decor, and thank you so much for joining me for another YouTube tutorial. Today I'm really excited to share the transformation journey of this salvaged piece of wicker furniture that I discovered in desperate need of some TLC. While the frame and bones were sturdy, the exterior needed some attention, and it was a challenge that I just couldn't resist, and I really wanted to share it with you here. So today, in this tutorial, I'm going to guide you step by step through the process of reviving this piece. We'll start by addressing the cosmetic damage by using new rattan caning, and then we'll add a fun, colorful, variegated paint finish. And for that bohemian touch, I'll demonstrate how to incorporate these stunning Morocco paint inlays by Orchid Designs, adding an artistic flair that truly elevates and makes this a unique statement piece of home decor. So if that is something you're interested in learning, stick around because that's what I will be going over today. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to stay updated with all my latest DIY adventures. And without any further ado, let's jump right in. So for the first half of this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I fixed the cosmetic damage. But as with all of my videos, I have video chapters listed down below, just in case there's one part of this project that you're more excited to see that you can easily skip to. So my inspiration behind this piece is kind of an old world coastal Mediterranean theme. So I don't mind if there is some damage, but I do want to fix the majority of the cosmetic damage that is extremely noticeable, which mainly was on the sides and here on the front. So as you can see, I'm removing all of the damaged wicker here with a pair of scissors. But before I move on to the next step, which will be weaving in this rattan caning, I need to thoroughly clean this wicker because it was pretty dirty as well as it was damaged. So I went about vacuuming it, and then I used simple green undiluted cleaner to clean this piece thoroughly, and then I left it outside on a nice warm day to dry. For this piece, I knew I was going to be painting it, so I wasn't necessarily concerned about the color of the rattan caning. But my issue was sourcing material that was the same shape and texture as the wicker on this piece. So I ended up having to get a little creative, as you can see here. Yes, this is plastic trimmer for a weed eater, but it worked for this part of the project as I really wanted this to be nice and stiff and have a good structure to it, as this is what I'm going to be weaving the rattan caning into. For this project, I was really trying to keep my costs down by using what I had on hand, and what can I say? Resourcefulness is my superpower, but it may be my illness as well. I think that anyone who upcycles or does DIY projects understands exactly what I'm talking about, but I digress. I finished fixing the cosmetic damage on the top as well before moving on to the next step. For this project, I'm creating what's known as a plain weave, and it simply involves a pattern of going over and under and then alternating for the next row. And if you're wondering, I did source this rattan caning off of Amazon. It was quite cost efficient to redo this top half. And I like the fact that it has a little bit of a different look to it because it creates kind of a decorative rim here on the top. Okay, so once all the wicker had been fixed and everything was clean, we are ready to move on to the paint makeover side of this project. So I am going to be priming this piece to be painted using Paint Couture's Premium Plus 2-in-1 Bonding and Blocking Primer in the color white. I am using a primer here because wicker tends to have a lot of oils to it, and I just want to make sure that I have a nice lasting paint finish. I, of course, will put a full list of products that I'm using here today down in the description below, just in case I inspire you to pick up a paintbrush and do a little creating. of your very own. So this finish is actually inspired by a piece of wicker furniture that I remember having as a child. I specifically remember that there were tones of blue and yellow in this piece, and that is what I'm trying to mimic here. So I'm going to start by laying down a faded wood look by using these 2 tones of brown by Paint Couture. I have Pine Cone and Madagascar Mocha, and I'm using my Happy Creating brush by Castrana. I really like using this brush because it has a nice round tip to it, which makes getting into all these little nooks and crannies on this wicker much, much easier. These are interchangeable. They're chalk and acrylic line of paint. You can blend them together. And I am simply just laying down these 2 browns and then using a side-to-side motion to blend them together. And I'm misting with water to assist me here as well. As I said earlier, I'm going for a very faded, 2-toned blended look, as if this thing has sat and been bleached by the sun. Okay, so next up, we're gonna introduce some color to this piece. We're gonna be using one of my favorite blues by Paint Couture. This one is called Sophia. And I also did a custom mixed yellow for this piece. I really wanted a more like boho style yellow. So I took Tuscan Sun and I added Pine Cone to it to create this yellow. This paint finish is really fun and is super easy and doesn't require any fancy techniques. All I'm doing is I'm simply brushing these 2 colors in random areas over the entirety of this piece. I'm gonna start with the Sophia blue, and as you can see, there's really no rhyme or reason as to where I'm adding it. I'm just going with my artistic discretion and wherever the paint flows. Also, don't be worried about getting full coverage because you're going for a distressed layered look. Next up, I'm going to take that custom mixed yellow, and again, making sure that my paintbrush is not overloaded, I am going to brush this yellow over top of this design. Again, I'm not going for full coverage here. I want that layered, distressed look. And here's a peek at what we were looking at once we were all done with that step. And next up, we are going to be taking, again, the Pine Cone color. And to complete this paint finish, we are going to be dry brushing this color over the entire dresser. This is the step that really pulls that subtle colored, variegated paint finish together. Next up, to add a really fun and unique element of design to this piece, I'm going to be using this Morocco paint inlay by Orchid Designs. And I'm going to be using Paint Couture's Extreme Guard top coat to do this. So once I have an idea of where this paint inlay is going to go, I'm going to spritz the paint side of it, and then I'm going to set that aside. Then I'm going to take Paint Couture's Extreme Guard top coat, and I'm going to brush on a very thick amount over this drawer, especially in the area where I'm going to be adding this paint inlay. Once I am done there, I'm going to carefully lay the paint side down on my piece of furniture, and then I'm going to again spritz it with water. Then I like to use a little cotton ball to firmly press this paint inlay onto this wicker design. By the end, you should be able to see the textured weave through your paint inlay. That's how you know that you've done a good enough job of adhering this to your dresser. But keep in mind that when you're using this paint inlay on wicker, you are not going to get a complete perfect transfer. You are going to get a very distressed looking design and image when you are done, and that's exactly what I'm going for with this boho inspired piece. So with the earthy vibes from the wicker and then accented with this fun, colorful Moroccan inspired tile, I could definitely see this piece of furniture being in like a high-end store like Pottery Barn or something like that. So this is a really fun way to take a piece of furniture that's in not so good condition and upcycle it into a really fun and unique piece of furniture art. Once my paint inlay had time to dry, about an hour and a half, I came back through to remove them. I'm gonna spritz them with water, and then I'm gonna wait about a minute or so before I start to pull them off slowly, starting from one side and working to the other. If at any point you feel the paint inlay resisting you as you're pulling, just give it another little spritz with your water and then go about slowly pulling it again. Remember that these paint inlays do utilize water-based paint, so you will need to seal this design for a lasting finish once you are done. This piece of furniture is now living happily ever after, nestled in my bedroom instead of the landfill. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Again, my name is Renee. I am the owner and artist behind Chicly Reclaimed Decor, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial where I shared with you how I rescued and reloved this wicker piece of furniture and gave it a fun boho paint makeover. If you liked today's tutorial and you're interested in more DIY content, then please be sure to like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and I hope I've inspired you to pick up a paintbrush and do a little creating of your very own.